they've lost their critical thinking. And I didn't realize a president could ever become a cult leader. And I realized from Stephen Hansen, he wrote the book, The Cult of Trump, that I was in a cult. You know, this was an actual cult.
I know you get mad when people say you're in a cult. Well, act uncult-like for a day. Just try it. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. Now, if there's one thing that you can count on when it comes to 2025, especially now that we are under the Trump administration, it is disappointment. I mean, even his pardons got me disgusted.
President Trump has been on an outright pardon spree here at the White House in the last several days, pardoning the reality TV star couple known as the Chrisleys, who are expected to leave prison any day now, in addition to a former New York Congressman, Michael Grimm, the former Connecticut governor, John Rowland, who was convicted not once but twice in federal crimes. Also, the rapper known as NBA Youngboy, who was convicted in a federal gun crimes case. And the president has also taken his step and used his power to not just issue a slew of pardons, but also he's commuting several sentences as well, including that of Larry Hoover, who was that notorious gang leader in Chicago.
If NBA Youngboy's PO don't like his next album, can he violate him and he go back in? Exactly what would constitute like a real violation. I also wanted that too about the Chrisleys. Like if they come back and make garbage, can they like, how permanent is the pardon situation? And Larry Hoover got state charges he need to serve. He didn't do nothing but that just to give him something to point to. No, that's all that was about. The one thing I can give him and do him a solid, at least he didn't pardon George Santos, because he was not real pleased about it. And that was good for the timeline. That was definitely good for the timeline. Is George Santos, is he posting from jail? Does that mean he's still making OnlyFans content? I would keep him in there until he promises to stop. My man even out here pardoning reality TV stars.
We're blessed to have our family back, and we're blessed to be coming back to television.
Now I got another channel I gotta skip past when I just thought I was freed from Chrisley Knows Best. And when I first heard that he was pardoning reality TV stars, I thought he was going to get Grand Dame from Real Housewives of Potomac. No, the actual Grand Dame. Yeah, Karen Hooker. Although she still got state charges, don't she?
Told me your name is Karen.
No.
Let me help you out.
No, I did not. Oh God, I'm lit.
Yes, you are lit.
Well, that didn't stop them with this whole Derek Chauvin now conversation now, hasn't it? Now, one thing you can say, though, when it comes to people that get a pardon or people that get sentences commuted or even charges withdrawn, and I see you over there, Eric Adams.
All these Negroes who are asking me to step down, God forgive them.
It's a certain fealty they might feel to the president. But you see, that is not always the case. How did you even get this number? This phone been off for 2 weeks. I would like to thank Aura for sponsoring this video. I don't know if you've ever tried to Google your name or email and shuddered at the results of what you found. It's terrifying, and there are companies that are called data brokers that sell your data, and they do it to pretty much whoever is willing to pay. That is why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family and friends. They take care of the hard part for you, automatically removing your info from these sites and keeping it off. Now, I just found Aura a few months ago, and it's wild what they were able to find in a short amount of time. But Aura goes even further. As an all-in-one digital security, you may already have a digital security tool, but not having Aura is like locking the front door, but leaving the back door open, which my wife has told me I'm not allowed to do anymore. You can get alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web, or it gives you real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, 24/7 monitoring. Aura includes $5 million in identity theft insurance protection, and they have U.S. fraud experts ready to help 24/7. At least this way we can fight back. And that is why I choose Aura. Try Aura for free for 14 days at aura.com/ReeseWaters. Again, that's aura.com/ReeseWaters. And those 2 weeks are enough for them to discover places where your data is being exposed and sold. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. Enter Maga Granny. Now, this was first reported a couple months ago. Former Maga Granny refuses to accept Trump's pardon for actions on January 6th. Pamela Hemphill insists on taking responsibility for roles she played in trying to overturn the 2020 election results. While some have praised Donald Trump for issuing full, complete, and unconditional pardons for the 1,500 individuals involved in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, Pamela Hemphill has pushed back. Hemphill, who was also arrested on January 6th, has refused to accept Trump's pardon, instead deciding to take responsibility for the role she played in trying to overturn the election results, which made Joe Biden victorious over Trump. An insult to the Capitol police officers and to the rule of law and to the nation. It contributes to the propaganda that it was a peaceful protest, that the DOJ is weaponized against them and against Trump. Now that all makes perfect sense. Her taking accountability for her actions, you know, the kind of thing that black folk are asked to do on a regular basis. But the reason why she is notable is because of how little of that we have seen from MAGA at large, but specifically from the J6ers. Let's make that clear. Hemphill, who earned the nickname Maga Granny in reference to Trump's Make America Great Again slogan, reportedly became interested in politics after she retired in 2011. She told the Idaho Statesman that she became connected with Ammon Bundy's People's Rights Network online and later began talking with the Proud Boys, a far-right group which played a major role in the attack. Now maybe the Proud Boys is what brought her home, since they now owned by the church. Maybe that's it. She stayed with the Proud Boys and she ended up just watching one too many sermons from a black preacher. And now all of a sudden she making sense again. They did say all roads lead back to church. They did tell me that.
Yes! Yes! Hallelujah!
In 2023, Hemphill claimed she had a change of heart and parted ways with MAGA. The decision to leave what she called a cult came after she was blamed by rioters when her video footage of the attack was used as evidence against them. The backlash from fellow rioters against Hemphill was fierce. Now just think about how delusional you have to be that you are so full of it that people who you are willing to expunge their record because they followed your delusion are unwilling to accept it, because even then they would still be tied into your delusion. That is quite an indictment. You know, if they felt feelings and understood people and whatnot. Mickey Whithoff, mother of Ashley Babbitt, the woman who was shot and killed by police at the Capitol, mocked Hemphill on social media, calling her Pamtifa in reference to the left-wing anti-fascist movement Antifa. So let me get this straight. Because they used her footage against other people that were involved in the riot, she all of a sudden gets turned on and they accuse her of being with Antifa just because they used her footage. It's almost like they are completely immune to facts and logic, which would explain how she got down there in the first place. Ain't it weird how all the people that got pardoned, they only have photos of them before they went to jail? I want to see the photos in their jail clothes. You know what I mean? I want to see some county blues or some orange jumpsuits. Can I get that of somebody? I would also say, when it comes to Mickey Whithoff, we have her clearly on record grasping onto whatever she possibly can to prosecute her case even when it's nonsensical. And I wonder if that would be applied to anything moving forward legally. Well, it certainly should if we had, I don't know, a functional Justice Department. Hemphill, who's been sober since 1979, is now a substance abuse counselor, compared her addiction to alcohol to the MAGA ideology. She said undergoing therapy shifted her perspective. She now sees herself as a volunteer, not a victim. This MAGA cult and these J6 criminals and all their family are very upset that I'm bringing the facts when they say something. It's just like working with an alcoholic. When you're in denial, you get real upset. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot, because you can't, while I'm still out that night, like, you can't really tell me nothing. All of a sudden, I'm real susceptible to facts and logic the next day when I'm trying to climb out from under that hangover. But then if you go hair of the dog, then, you know, that's one way to just keep the party going. So these people just really just been under the influence so long, they haven't even had a moment to come up for air for facts and logic. I like that. I like that. Although, I'll be honest, it does kind of give alcohol a bad name. It does. You know, Mad Dog didn't deserve to be associated with MAGA. Mad Dog never did that much damage. That's a lie. Actually, that is a lie, actually. Yeah, I lost my whole 20s to Mad Dog. Yeah. Red grape. Yeah, it was red grape for me. Hemphill even threw her support behind Kamala Harris in the 2024 election and no longer fears retribution from Trump loyalists. And like most people, once they see the light, they want to spread the word.
Well, we've seen a lot of pardons and commutations from President Trump just a few months into his second term, but only one of those defendants has come forward and rejected the offer. Pam Hempfield, known as ex-Maga Granny, is one of 1,500 Capitol rioters pardoned for their roles in the January 6th Capitol riot. She spent 2 months behind bars, but Hempfield says she's guilty and she got what she deserved. And Pam Hempfield joins us now from Boise, Idaho. Thank you so much for coming out. So you recently reached out to your senator to help secure a formal acknowledgement from the Justice Department that you are refusing clemency. The Office of the Pardon Attorney responded saying, Ms. Hemphill's non-acceptance is noted. There is no further action needed. Our office will not issue Ms. Hemphill a certificate of pardon and will refrain from requesting any notation of pardon on her criminal history record. Obviously, it's unusual to reject a pardon. Tell us more about your decision here.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. You know, it would be a part of Trump's narrative that he's been pushing that the DOJ is weaponized against him, right? I don't want to be a part of that. And of course, that went down to the J6ers. They caught on to that and jumped on that and said, yeah, the DOJ was weaponized against us and we didn't get due process and we didn't get whatever they're claiming, you know, with their court proceedings. And it's all a lie. I had due process. I was guilty. Everything the DOJ was upright, you know, with me. And so I thought, I can't be a part of this. No way. I'm not going to be a part of Trump's lying narrative. And plus, you know, it'd be a slap on Capitol Police officers, the rule of law. No, I couldn't dare live with myself taking a pardon. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
So we have the violation of the whole back to blue, right? When it comes to the Capitol Police officers and what they suffered in that particular day. We have them claiming that they got no due process while backing and empowering a man who is dangling due process over our head like a cat toy, threatening to take it away from American citizens at large. Then we have the fact that they're talking about the DOJ and the Justice Department was weaponized against him while he's on a whole revenge tour. Like, it's, you know, like it's just the world of the upside down. And that's before we get to the whole taking accountability, which I've been reading for the last several weeks, is something that apparently black people cannot do. What is it that we say? Once again, class, in unison. Every accusation is an admission. MAGA 2025.
You mentioned the Capitol police officers. You went inside the Capitol building that day. I believe we have some pictures. You told us that you were being trampled on by your fellow rioters, and that Capitol Police, here we go, you're right here, actually helped save you. Clearly, you've done a 180 since that day. Tell us about how you ended up in the Capitol building to now rejecting Trump's pardon. What led to your revelation?
Well, actually, it didn't start for me till after I was out of prison. It wasn't like a one-night white light experience. I had started a J6 space. I had them in my space on Twitter, now X, and they were, playing the victim role. And I thought, why are they supporting the ones, though, that had injured and attacked officers? So I just discovered one lie after another, and I thought, this narrative is false. It's not true. I learned that the Capitol Police did not open the doors. Nancy Pelosi was not responsible for the National Guard. On and on, all the lies in their narrative that they've been putting out there. So I thought, this is insane. I'm done. I'm done with these people.
Now all of a sudden I understand why they had such a problem with her and her moment of clarity. And shout out to her using white light. It takes one to know one. Now I get why they had such an issue with her moment of clarity, because what an indictment it is of you, of all of you that are still under this influence, to have somebody amongst you who is willing to say, this is all nonsense. I saw this, I saw that, I know this isn't true, and you're all full of it. Now yeah, that would be a problem. That would, like, one person who has a operable brain in a world of idiots would be the enemy. I now I get it.
Did you feel like you had been a victim of misinformation up to that point that led you to the Capitol that day with the election was stolen rhetoric and all of that, which of course is not true?
Absolutely. It wasn't misinformation, though. It was disinformation.
That's right.
100%. Everything I've researched, that they lie about everything. And they're just following the footprints of Trump. It all goes back to Trump. They're coming after me, but they're really coming after you.
Which is something that we're going to have to really continue to wedge, the difference between misinformation and disinformation. Yes, intent. Yes, we are talking about a lot of disinformation that's been put out. But I love what she said about they're coming after me, but they're really coming after you. That didn't really happen when it came to the spoils, now, did it? That didn't really happen when it comes to the tax breaks and the crypto money and the jet. Yeah, you get, it was for you, but it was really for me. Yeah, I mean, it was all of the spoils. It's ours, but it's really mine. Yeah, that's how that goes. I hope it feels good, MAGA.
And they've lost their critical thinking. And I didn't realize a president could ever become a cult leader. And I realized from Stephen Hansen, he wrote the book, The Cult of Trump, that I was in a cult. This was an actual cult.
Now, I know that MAGA is not going to receive this well. I know how they react to being when we say that they're in a cult. How do you react when there is dissension in your own ranks? Do you call them Antifa? Do you say that they're George Soros paid operatives? Because that would be cult behavior. That would be That would be cult behavior. I know you get mad when people say you're in a cult. Well, act uncult-like for a day. Just try it.
I'm glad you specified disinformation, because that is when information that's not true is weaponized, right? That's different from misinformation, which is when, we all misspeak or, say something that may not be true, but not intentionally. And you think you were a victim of disinformation. You actually went on the podcast of Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys leader, who also was pardoned. You did a bunch of research with him, about him, I should say, for a while before that conversation. Why did you think it was so important to go on and confront him on that podcast?
Because I think it's important that we continue to present the facts to these people. It helped me years ago, 45 years ago, when I've been sober now 45 years, and people had confronted me and kept putting facts in front of me, and it saved my life. And I know that they don't hear us per se, but they will. We plant the seeds, keep putting the facts out there to them, because they can't lie to themselves forever.
I don't know, Granny. I don't know. I think you done sold them short. That Trump influence lasts longer than the Mad Dog. I can tell you that. That got like a Cisco hold on people.
But I think it's important that they know that we know that they're gaslighting us and they're not being honest about their story.
Yeah, because President Trump and a lot of his MAGA followers still say it wasn't an insurrection, it was a peaceful protest. How do you think he would react to you rejecting his pardon?
Oh, he'd probably say, get her back on probation and give her a terrible PO. You weigh her every day, that ungrateful lady.
Are you worried?
No, I wanted to finish my probation. No, not really. I do like to finish my sentence to honor my judge.
Do you worry, though, a pardon can make things easier in terms of getting, certain types of insurance once you leave jail, and kind of clear out the red tape? Do you worry that you're rejecting something that could help you make your life easier now?
No, being honest and pushing back on Trump. No, there's nothing I could lose. No, and it doesn't matter. The cost of continuing to lie or be dishonest with yourself is not worth it. It's not worth them. Anything they want to do to me, it's okay. I'm not worried about nothing.
Now, touche to Pamela Hemphill for showing the level of honesty and accountability that is grossly lacking from MAGA on a regular basis, which is probably why they accuse others of not exhibiting the same. And it has really been a different level of disgusting to see the folks that characterize others as criminal, who characterize others as not worthy of proper society, throw their arms around the J6ers at large, and all of these additionals that have been pardoned as well, while they weaken the justice system and the Justice Department. I'm sure you guys are aware of the big, beautiful bill and all the powers that he grants himself over the judiciary therein. So, yeah, again, every accusation is an admission. And even though I opened up with a little lighthearted about the pardons, if you weren't mad before, I just want you to check out the sheer cost of the pardons that Trump laid out. And shout out to former DOJ pardon attorney Liz Oyer for laying it out.
Hey, everybody. You've asked for more information about the $1 billion worth of pardons granted by President Trump, and I am here to provide that. I'm Liz Oyer, former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. I put together this list based on information in publicly available court filings, and I'm going to walk you through it. One of Trump's earliest pardons went to Ross Ulbricht, the founder of the Silk Road, an online dark web marketplace that sold contraband, including drugs. He was ordered to forfeit over $183 million in proceeds from his illegal activity. He received a full and unconditional pardon from President Trump. Devin Archer was convicted of defrauding a Native American tribe and ordered to pay over $43 million in restitution. He received a full and unconditional pardon, wiping out that debt. HDR Global Trading Limited, this is a really unusual one because this is a company that's receiving a pardon. President Trump is actually granting pardons to corporations as well as individuals. HDR was a cryptocurrency company that committed money laundering and was ordered to pay a fine in the amount of $100 million. 4 employees of HDR were also convicted of money laundering. Benjamin Dello, Arthur Hayes, and Samuel Reed were each ordered to pay fines in the amount of $10 million, and Gregory Dwyer was ordered to pay a $150,000 fine. Those fines were all wiped out by Trump's pardons. Trevor Milton, he's the one we talked about yesterday who was supposedly going to build an electric semi-truck. He defrauded investors to the tune of over $675 million, wiped out by a presidential pardon. Jason Galanis actually committed multiple different fraud schemes, and he was ordered to pay restitution in the amounts of $37 million plus $43 million. He received a full and unconditional pardon for all his frauds, and those debts were wiped out. Ozy Media is another company that received a pardon, and its founder, Carlos Watson, also received a pardon. They were convicted of defrauding their investors and each ordered to pay over $36 million in restitution. Michelle Fiore, she's the one who embezzled $70,000 from a police memorial fund and spent it on plastic surgery. That debt wiped out by her full and unconditional pardon. And finally, Paul Walchuk, he ran a healthcare company, and he was convicted of tax fraud. He was actually skimming money off the top of the paychecks of the doctors and nurses he employed and using it on luxury goods and to buy a boat. So that brings us to a total of $1.192 billion in debt canceled out by pardons that we know of.
That sounds like a whole nother video. So definitely be on the lookout for that, because that certainly deserves a circle back, as does the state of Idaho. You know, Idaho, I gave you a hard time, and not undeserved. You know what I mean? You were the state of Dr. Boren Paul getting dragged out of the town hall. You were the state of the racist Chick-fil-A that we just talked about here. You're the state that dropped ends on the women's basketball team. You are the state that pushed back on everybody is welcome here. And you are the state that has been one-stop shopping for picking up pardon J6ers when they get in trouble again. But she represents your state as well as the students that marched in opposition to the ruling that came down on everybody is welcome here. So I have to tell a full story whenever one is presented to me. So salute to you guys for that. But mainly salute to logic and reason and common sense. And that is almost never in association with MAGA, which is probably why she don't go by Maga Granny no more. She was like, well, yeah, that's once I figured out the sky was blue and 2 + 2 is 4, that Maga Granny didn't fit no more. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you got a chance to catch the live premiere. As I mentioned last time, I premiere all of my videos, and I love the opportunity to chat with you guys while you are seeing the content for the first time. And we keep those chats going over on Patreon, where we have the community chats. All you need to participate is an account, which you can sign up for free over at patreon.com/ReeseWaters. So get yourself an account, jump in the chat, and while you're there, take a look around and let me know what you think of the place. We also offer all the same benefits that are available here on membership on Patreon as well. Now, I'll be honest, I have been working a lot. I've been out here working like Tommy from Martin.
If you can't find any work, I'll put in a good word for you at my job, man. You ain't got no job, man!
I've been making so much content that we've had to put out multiples a day some days, or as I call it, BOGO. So be on the lookout for additional notifications. Just because you've seen one video come out doesn't mean another one might not. And those of you early birds, of which I am not one, you are in luck, because I do want to try out dropping some videos in the morning, because I know you guys like to watch content early in the morning. Now, that also gives me the opportunity to put out some behind the scenes content, so you members be on the lookout for that, as well as some interviews. I'm going to be bringing those to you as well.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live.
But when it comes to exactly how we got to a point of producing so much content, so many people went into this, but I want to give some special love to our researcher on the channel, Regina. You guys know her and you love her, and here she is right here. Shout out to her supporting the channel, which, by the way, this shirt and a whole lot more is available at ReeseWaters.com, so make sure you check that out. But as long as she's still out here doing her thing, I'm going to be out here doing my thing. There's a whole lot more to come. Don't make me go to the Trump.